At once he made an affliction for mankind to set against the fire. The renowned ambidexter moulded from earth the likeness of a modest maiden by Cronos' son's design. The pale-eyed goddess Athene dressed and adorned her in a gleaming white garment. Down over her head she drew an embroidered veil, a wonder to behold. And about her head she placed a golden diadem, which the renowned ambidexter made with his own hands to please Zeus the father. On it were many designs fashioned, a wonder to behold. All the formidable creatures that the land and sea foster, many of them he put in, charm breathing over them all. Wonderful designs like living creatures with a voice of their own. When he made the pretty bane to set against a blessing, he led her out where the other gods and men were, resplendent in the finery of the pale-eyed one whose father is stern. Both immortal gods and mortal men were seized with wonder when they saw that precipitous trap, more than mankind can manage. For from her is descended the female sex, a great affliction to mortals as they dwell with their husbands, no fit partners for accursed poverty, but only for plenty. As the bees in their sheltered nests feed the drones, those conspirators in badness, and while they busy themselves all day, every day, till sundown, making the white honeycomb, the drones stay inside in the sheltered cells and pile the toil of others into their own bellies. Even so, as a bane for mortal men, has high thundering Zeus created women, conspirators in causing difficulty. And he gave a second bane to set against a blessing for the man who, to avoid marriage and the trouble women cause, chooses not to wed, and arrives at grim old age lacking anyone to look after him. He is not short of livelihood when he lives, but when he dies, distant relatives share out his living. Then again, the man who does partake of marriage and gets a good wife who is sound and sensible spends his life with bad competing constantly against good, while the man who gets the awful kind lives with unrelenting pain in heart and spirit, and there is an ill without a cure. Thus, there is no way of deceiving or evading the mind of Zeus, since not even Iapetos' son, sly Prometheus, escaped the weight of his wrath, and for all of his cleverness a strong fetter holds him in check. When their father first became hostile towards Obriarios, Kotos and Gyges, he bound them in powerful fetters, indignant at their overbearing strength and aspect and stature, and settled them below the wide-pathed earth. There they sat at the world's end, living in misery below the earth, at the great world's limits, and for a long time they were suffering there with great pain at heart. But the son of Cronos and the other immortal gods, whom lovely-haired Rhea bore in intimacy with Cronos, brought them up again into the light on earth's advice. For she told them everything at length, that with their help they would win victory on their proud claim. For long they had fought against each other in fierce combat, and the struggle gave them pain at heart. The Titan gods and those that were born of Cronos, the proud Titans from high Othrys, and from Olympus the gods, givers of blessings, whom lovely-haired Rhea bore bedded with Cronos. They had been fighting each other continually now for 10 full years, and the fight gave them pain at heart, and to neither side came solution or end of the bitter strife, and the outcome of the war was equally balanced. But when Zeus provided those allies with full sustenance, nectar and ambrosia, such as the gods themselves eat, and the proud spirit waxed in all their breasts. Then the Father of gods and men spoke to them. Hearken to me, proud children of earth and heaven, and let me say what the spirit in my breast bids me. For long now we have been fighting each other for victory and power day after day. The Titan gods and we who were born of Kronos. But now you must display your great strength and your terrible hands against the Titans in the fearful slaughter. Remember our faithful friendship, and how much you suffered before our decision brought you back into the light from your dismal bondage down in misty darkness. So he spoke, and the excellent Kotos straightway replied, Friend, what you say is not unfamiliar to us. We know that you have exceeding intelligence and exceeding insight, and that you have been the immortals' saviour from chilling peril. But that it is by your providence that we have come back up from the misty darkness and our harsh bondage, Lord, son of Kronos, after sufferings we never anticipated. So now, in turn, with fixed purpose and willing spirit, we will secure your supremacy in the terrible slaughter by fighting the Titans in fierce combat. So he spoke, and the gods, givers of blessings, applauded when they heard his words. Their spirits began to yearn for battle even more than before, and they raised such conflict as none would find fault with. All of them, both females and males on that day, the Titan gods and those born of Kronos, and those whom Zeus brought to the light from the gloom beneath the earth, fearful and powerful ones with overbearing strength. 100 arms sprang from the shoulders of each of them. 50 heads grew from their shoulders above their stalwart limbs. These then engaged the Titans in grim slaughter, with sheer cliffs in their stalwart hands, while the Titans on the other side strengthened their battle lines with a will. Both sides displayed a feat of main force, and the boundless sea roared terribly round about. The earth crashed loudly, and the broad sky quaked and groaned. Long Olympus was shaken to its foundations by the onrush of the immortals. The heavy tremors from their feet reached misty Tartarus, and the shrill din of the indescribable onset and the powerful bombardment. So it was that when they discharged their woe-laden missiles at each other, the voices of the two sides reached the starry heavens as they called out, clashing with loud battle cries. Now Zeus held in his strength no longer. Straightway his lungs were filled with fury, and he began to display his full might. From heaven and from Olympus together he came, with continuous lightning flashes, and the bolts flew thick and fast from his stalwart hand amid thunder and lightning, trailing supernatural flames. All around the life-bearing earth rumbled as it burned, and the vast woodlands crackled loudly on every side. The whole land was seething, and the streams of Oceanus and the undraining sea. The hot blast enveloped the chthonic Titans. The indescribable flames reached the divine sky, and the sparkling flare of the thunderbolt and the lightning dazzled the strongest eyes. An amazing conflagration prevailed over the chasm. To see it directly with the eyes and to hear the sound with the ears, it seemed just as if earth and broad heaven above were coming together, for even such a mighty din would be arising with her being crashed down upon and him crashing down from above. So great a din there was as the gods clashed in strife, And in addition, the winds magnified, quaking, and the dust, and the thunder and lightning and smoking bolt, great Zeus's wizardries, and carried the noise and shouting of both sides together. The din that rose from the terrible conflict was immense, and it was a powerful action that was displayed. The scales of battle turned, but until then they attacked each other, fighting furiously in fierce combat. In the forefront, Kotos, Briareos, and Gyges, who was never sated with battle, raised bitter conflict. 300 rocks from their stalwart hands they discharged in a volley, darkening the Titans' sky with missiles, and they dispatched them below the wide-pathed earth, and bound them in painful bondage, having defeated them by force for all their pride, as far below the earth as heaven is from the earth, and so far it is from the earth to misty Tartarus. For 9 nights and days a bronze anvil might fall from heaven, and on the 10th reach the earth, and for 9 nights and days a bronze anvil might fall from earth, and on the 10th reach Tartarus. Round it a brazen barrier is driven, and darkness is spread about its neck in 3 layers, while above it grow the roots of the earth and of the undraining sea. There the Titan gods are hidden away down in the misty gloom, and by decision of Zeus, the cloud-gatherer, in a place of decay at the end of the vast earth, they have no way out. Poseidon fastened brazen doors thereon, and a wall is driven up to the doors from both sides. There Kotos, Gyges, and brave Obriarios live, trusty guardians of Zeus who bear the aegis. And there are the sources and extremities of dark earth and misty Tartarus, of the undraining sea and the starry heaven, all in order, dismal and dank, that even gods shudder at, a vast chasm, whose floor a man would not reach in a whole year if he got inside the gates. But storm wind upon terrible storm wind would carry him hither and thither. It is a cause of fear even for the immortal gods, this marvel, and there stands the fearful house of gloomy night, shrouded in clouds of blackness, next to the son of Iapetos, stands holding the broad heaven firmly upon his head and untiring hands, where night and day approach and greet each other as they cross the great threshold of bronze. One goes in, one comes out, and the house never holds them both inside. But always there is one of them outside the house ranging the earth, while the other waits inside the house until the time comes for her to go. One carries far-seeing light for those on earth, but other, baleful night, shrouded in clouds of mist, cradles sleep, the brother of death. There the sons of gloomy night have their dwelling, sleep and death, fearsome gods. Never does the shining sun look upon them with his rays when he goes up into heaven, nor when he climbs down from heaven. The one of them ranges the earth and the broad back of the sea, gentle and mild towards men. But the other has a heart of iron and a pitiless spirit of bronze in his breast. That man is his whom he once catches, and he is hateful even to the immortal gods. There, further on, stands the echoing house of the chthonic god, and in front of it a fearsome hound stands guard. He is pitiless, he has a nasty trick. Those who enter he fawns upon with his tail and both his ears. but he does not let them come out again, but watches and devours whoever he catches going out of the gates. And there dwells a goddess, who makes the immortals shudder, awful Styx, eldest daughter of Oceanus, that flows back into itself. Apart from the gods, she has her famed home roofed with long rocks, and on every side of it is fastened to the sky with silver columns. Rarely does Thaumas's daughter, swift-footed Iris, go errands there over the broad back of the sea. When quarrel and strife arise among the immortals, if one of them that dwells on Olympus speaks false, Zeus sends Iris to bring the gods' great oath from far off in a golden jug. The celebrated cold water that drops from a high sheer cliff and far below the wide-pathed earth flows from the holy river through dark night, a branch of Oceanus. A 10th part is her share, 9 parts Oceanus's winds round the earth and the broad back of the sea with his silver eddies, and falls into the brine, while that 1 part issues forth from the cliff, a great bane to the gods. Whosoever of the immortals that possesses the peak of snowy Olympus swears false upon making a libation of that water, he lies without breathing for a full year, and never lays hands on ambrosia and nectar by way of food, but lies breathless and voiceless on his bed, wrapped in a malignant coma. When he completes his long year of malady, another more trying ordeal succeeds the first. For 9 years he is cut off from the gods who are forever, and does not join them once in council or feast for 9 whole years. But in the 10th he rejoins the company of the immortals who dwell in Olympus. Such is the oath the gods have made of Styx's perennial water, elemental water, that flows through a rugged region. There are sources and extremities of dark earth and misty Tartarus, of the undraining sea and of the starry heaven, all in order, dismal and dank, that even the gods shudder at. And there are the shining gates, the bronze threshold, firmly fixed with long roots, made by no craftsman's hand. And beyond, excluded from the company of gods, the Titans live, on the far side of the gloomy chasm. But the renowned allies of loud crashing Zeus have their home at Oceanus's foundations, Kotos and Gyges. But Briareos was so worthy that the heavy booming shaker of earth made him his son-in-law, giving him his daughter Sympholia in marriage. Now when Zeus had driven the Titans out of heaven, the huge earth bore as her youngest child Typhoeus, being united in intimacy with Tartarus by golden Aphrodite. His arms are employed in feats of strength, and the legs of the powerful god are tireless. Out of his shoulders came 100 fearsome snake heads with black tongues flickering. In the eyes, his strange heads flashed fire under the brows, and there were voices in all his fearsome heads, giving out every kind of indescribable sound. Sometimes they uttered as if for the gods' understanding, sometimes again the sound of a bellowing bull, whose might is uncontainable and whose voice is proud, sometimes again of a lion who knows no restraint, sometimes again a pack of hounds, astonishing to hear. Sometimes again he hissed, and the long mountains echoed beneath. A thing past help would have come to pass that day, and he would have become king of mortals and immortals, had the father of the gods and men not taken sharp notice. He thundered, hard and stern. The earth rang fearsomely round about, and the broad heaven above, the sea and Oceanus' stream and the realm of chaos. Great Olympus quaked under the immortal feet of the Lord as he went forth, and the earth groaned beneath him. A conflagration held the violet dark sea in its grip, both from the thunderer and lightning, from the fire of the monster, from the tornado winds and the flaming bolt. All the land was seething, and sky and sea, long waves raged to and fro about the headlands from the onrush of the immortals, and an uncontrollable quaking arose. Hades was trembling, the lord of the dead below, and so were the Titans down in Tartarus with Kronos in their midst, at the incessant clamour and the fearful fighting. When Zeus had accumulated his strength then, and taken his weapons, the thunder, lightning, and smoking bolt, he leapt from Olympus and struck. He scorched all the strange heads of the dreadful monster on every side. When he had overcome him by belabouring him with his blows, Typhoeus collapsed, crippled, and the huge earth groaned. Flames shot from the thunderstruck lord where he was smitten down, in the mountain glens of rugged Aidna. The huge earth burned far and wide with unbelievable heat, melting like tin that is heated by the skill of craftsmen in crucibles with bellow holes, or as iron, which is the strongest substance, when it is overpowered by burning fire in mountain glens, melts into the divine ground by Hephaestus' craft. Even so was the earth melting in the glare of the conflagration, and vexed at heart, Zeus flung Typhoeus into broad Tartarus. From Typhoeus are the strong winds that blow wet, except for the southerly and the northerly and the clearing westerly. These are from the gods by birth, a great blessing to mortals. But the other winds blow haphazard on the sea, falling upon the misty waves, a great bane to mortals. They rage with evil gusts, they blow different at different times, scattering ships and drowning sailors. There is no help against disaster from men who meet with them at sea. And some of them, even on land, the boundless realm of flowers, destroy the fair husbandry of earth-born men, filling it with dust and troublesome refuse. When the blessed gods had completed their work and settled the matter of privileges with the Titans by force, then on earth's advice they urged that Olympian Zeus, the wide-seeing, should be king and lord of the immortals. And he allotted them privileges satisfactorily. Zeus, as king of the gods, made Metis his first wife, the wisest among gods and mortal men. But when she was about to give birth to the pale-eyed goddess Athene, he tricked her deceitfully with cunning words and put her away in his belly on the advice of the earth and starry heaven. They advised him in this way, so that no other of the gods, the eternal fathers, should have the royal station instead of Zeus, for from Metis it was destined that clever children should be born. First, a pale-eyed daughter, Tritogenia, with courage and sound counsel equal to her father's, and then a son she was to bear, king of gods and men, one proud of heart. But Zeus put her away in his belly first, so that the goddess could advise him of what was good or bad. Second, he married sleek Themis, who bore the watchers, lawfulness, justice, and flourishing peace, who watch over the works of mortal men and the fates, to whom Zeus, the resourceful, gave the most privilege. Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos, who give mortal men both good and ill. Eurynome, a daughter of Oceanus with lovely looks, bore him the three graces, Aglaea, Euphrosyne, and fair Thalia. From their eyes, love that dissolves the flesh seeped down as they looked. Beautiful is their glance from under their brows. And he came to the bed of Demeter abundant in nourishment, and she bore the white-armed Persephone, whom Aidoneus stole from her mother, Zeus the resourceful granting her to him. Again, he took love of memory with her beautiful hair, from whom the Muses with their gold diadems were born to him, 9 of them, whose pleasure is in feasts and the delight of song. Leto gave birth to Apollo and Artemis, the archer, lovely children above all the celestials, in shared intimacy with Zeus, who bears the Aegis. Last of all, he made Hera his fertile wife, and she bore Hebe and Ares and Eileithyia, sharing intimacy with the king of gods and men. And by himself, out of his head, he fathered the pale-eyed Tritogenia, the fearsome rouser of the fray, leader of armies, the lady of Atrione, whose pleasure is in war and the clamour of battle, while Hera, furying and quarrelling with her husband, gave birth to the renowned Hephaestus, who is endowed with skills beyond all the celestials. From Amphitrite, the loud, booming shaker of the earth, great Triton was born, whose strength extends widely, who occupies the bottom of the sea, dwelling in a golden house with his dear mother and the Lord, his father, a formidable god. To Ares, the piercer of shield hides, Cytherea bore terror and fear, formidable gods, who rout tight battle lines in the chilling conflict together with Ares, sacker of cities, and Harmonia, whom proud Cadmus made his wife. To Zeus, Atlas's daughter Maia bore glorious Hermes, to herald of the immortals, after going up to his holy bed. Cadmus's daughter Semele bore him a resplendent son in shared intimacy, merry Dionysus, immortal son of mortal mother, but now they are both gods. Alcmene bore the mighty Heracles in shared intimacy with Zeus the cloud-gatherer. Hephaestus, the renowned ambidexter, made Algaia his fertile wife, the youngest of the Graces. Golden-haired Dionysus made auburn Ariadne, Minos' daughter, his fertile wife, and the son of Cronos made her immortal and ageless for him. Fair-ankled Alcmene's valiant son, the mighty Heracles, after completing his oppressive ordeals, made Hebe his modest wife in snowy Olympus, child of great Zeus and gold-sandaled Hera, fortunate Heracles, who performed a great feat among the immortals, and now lives free from trouble, free from old age for all time. To the tireless sun, the renowned Oceanid Persis bore Circe, and King Aetes, son of the sun, who makes light for mortals, married by the gods' design, another daughter of Oceanus, the unending river, fair-cheeked Idea, and she bore him the trim-ankled Medea, surrendering in intimacy through golden Aphrodite. Farewell now, you dwellers in Olympus, and you islands, continents, and the salt sea between. But now, Olympian muses, sweet of utterance, daughters of aegis-bearing Zeus, sing of the company of goddesses. All those who were bedded with mortal men, immortal themselves, and bore children resembling gods. Demeter, noble among goddesses, gave birth to wealth. In union of intimate desire with the hero Iasius, in a thrice-turned fallow field in the rich Cretan land, Wealth, a goodly god, who goes over all earth and the broad back of the sea, and whoever encounters him, into whosoever hands he comes. He makes him rich and bestows much fortune upon him. To Cadmus, Harmonia, daughter of golden Aphrodite, bore Ino, Semele, and fair-cheeked Argo, and Autono, whom Aristeus of the luxuriant hair married, and Polydorus in well-walled Thebes. Oceanus' daughter, Callirrhoe, sharing golden Aphrodite's intimacy with stout-hearted Chrysaor, bore a son, the strongest of all mortals, Geryoneus, whom mighty Heracles killed for his shambling oxen in sea-girt Erythea. To Tithonius' dawn bore Memnon, bronze-armoured king of the Ethiopians, and the lord Emetheon. And to Cephalus she produced a resplendent son, doughty Phaethon, a man resembling the gods. When he was young and still had the delicate bloom of his glorious prime, a boy with childish thoughts, Aphrodite, the lover of smiles, snatched him away and made him her closest servant in her holy temple, a noble hero. The son of Aeson took from Aeetes the daughters that Zeus fostered, king by the design of the gods. The eternal fathers, after completing the many oppressive ordeals enjoined upon him by the great overbearing king, the brute Peleus, who was wicked and stern in action, having completed them, Aeson's son reached Iolcus after long sufferings, bringing the curly-lashed girl on his swift ship, and made her his fertile wife. And surrendering to Jason, shepherd of peoples, she bore a son, Medeos, whom Chiron, the son of Philyra, brought up in the mountains in fulfilment of great Zeus's purpose. As for the daughters of Nereus, the old man of the sea, Samanthe, noble among goddesses, bore Phocus, in shared intimacy with Aeacus, through golden Aphrodite, while the silver-foot goddess Thetis, surrendering to Peleus, gave birth to Achilles, Lionheart, breaker of men. Cytherea, with the fair diadem, bore Aeneas in union of intimate desire with the hero Anchises, among the peaks and glens of windy Ida. Circe, daughter of the sun of Hyperion, in shared intimacy with Odysseus, the enduring of heart, bore Agrius and Latinus, the excellent and strong, who were lords of all the famous Tyrrhenians far away in a remote part of the Holy Isles. And Calypso, noble among goddesses, bore Nausithous, and Nausinous to Odysseus in union of intimate desire. These were bedded with mortal men, immortal themselves, and bore children resembling the gods.